Okay guys, so today's video on our dinosaur game, we're going to go back into it. It should be fairly short. Today we're only going to be working on one thing, and that is the moving ground. So I've made a ground for us that I don't think is too bad, so we probably will keep it and use it for the game. If not, I don't know, we'll see later on and see what it looks like. We can always make another one later. But today we're going to go in, we'll import that ground, and then we will start making it move across from, I think it's from the right side of the screen to the left. And then what we want to do after that is, because we don't want the ground to like just disappear off the screen, we want it to like duplicate and pretty much look like it's scrolling infinitely. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So let's jump into it and get started. So where are we? So I have already, let's go into our scene view. So in here I have already imported a ground, and this is one that I made. It's not too bad. You can see if we go into our game view, let's just change the camera to white. So that's what our ground looks like. Where is it? This one. So it will eventually be somewhere down here. Let's just go get rid of this one because we don't really need that one anymore. You can delete that. So that's what our game is going to look like. Let's just move this down a little bit, probably somewhere to there, and then our dinosaur will eventually move down to something like that. Actually, let's put this at -4, and then we can adjust our ground to that. So -4, push this up a bit, probably something like 4.3, maybe, yeah, like that, -4.3. All right, so what we want to do here is we want our ground to continuously move from the left to the right like this and speed up as the game gets faster. But you can see that eventually it does end, which is not something we want. So we want to go and duplicate it, and then kind of I don't know how to explain this, just kind of reposition it on the right so it looks like it keeps on like reappearing, if that makes sense. So once this one gets to about let's say about here, we will pretty much reposition it and put one here, and then actually no, that's not what we're going to do. I'm thinking of another game that I was working on. So what we're going to do, let's get rid of this one first. What we're going to do with this is we're going to, as soon as it gets to, I think, about halfway, we are going to go and reposition it, I think, again, so that it looks like it's just continuous and infinitely scrolling. So that's the theory. So we shall see how that works. So let's go and copy and paste it. And then I'm just going to position it right next to it, something like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Also, I did kind of mess this up. I didn't get rid of that, which I probably should have, so it looked seamless. But anyway, that should be fine. So let's create a parent object, and that's going to be called a ground. And then let's go and attach a script onto this called ground. Ooh, that's done it for us. Okay, ground, we'll add that onto there. And then we can, actually, we need another script to make it move. So let's go and name this move left, because it's going to move from right to left. So create that as well. Okay, I'm just going to create another folder for our scripts. And then we can drag all of these in there, scripts in there, that one in there, and then that one in there, just to tidy it up. So what's this? Okay, that's fine, that's gone. Let's open that up. Let's open up the move left, and then we can work on this first. So what we're going to do in here is we need to, first of all, we need a speed. So just for testing purposes, we will create a speed, but later on we want a global speed so that we can speed the game up. So let's go and say public, what is it going to be? It's going to be, let's just make it float for now, float, because it will change and become a decimal at some point. So public float speed, and that is going to be set at, we'll set it at 10 for now. And then what else do we want to do? We want to, I don't think we need our start method, so we can get rid of that. And then in our update method, we can go and move this. So let's go transform dot translate, and then we can say vector 3 dot left, because we want to move it from the right to the left, or in other words, into the left direction. That is going to be times time dot delta time, and then times our speed. So that should move our ground from right to left. So let's have a look and see what that is. Okay, so that's fine, that's working nicely. We could probably slow it down a little bit, so let's go and change that to 5. Ignore our dinosaur, it is falling because we have no collider on our ground. Actually, just go and add one in quickly. Let's add a box collider 2D, and then can we reset it? No, we can't. So we're gonna have to manually redo it. Okay, so our collider needs to be slightly below, so our dinosaur looks like it's standing on the kind of like in the ground, but also on top of it, if that makes sense. So that's fine. We'll just bring this down like that, down a little bit. Okay, cool. Let's just see if this works. So our dinosaur shouldn't fall down anymore. Okay, so that's fine. Looks like it's kind of walking. So our game's coming along. We now have a dinosaur that walks on the ground, but as soon as it gets to the end here, it's going to fall off. Okay, so now the only thing that's left to do is to try and repeat the background. So let's go to our ground script and let's edit the script. I'm just going to say ground repeat, just so the class name kind of tells you what it does. Let's just go and rename it in here as well, otherwise we might get errors. Okay, so in here we need a couple of variables. So we first need I think it's a vector 3, and that is going to be our start position. So let's go and say start position, and we'll set that in the start method at the very start of the game. And then we also need a repeat width. So this is going to be a float repeat width. So we have to calculate the width of the, what am I doing? The width of the picture, or the background, or the ground in our case. And then when it gets to about halfway, we need to go and put it back to where it started, I guess. And then that should look like it's seamlessly, constantly moving. So the first thing we need to do is set our start position. So that's going to be equal to the transform dot position. So that's pretty much it. And then the next one is our repeat width. So we need to go and say repeat width is equal to get component, because we need to get the width of it. And to do that, I think we need to access the collider. So what did we use? It was a box collider 2D. So box collider 2D dot size dot width, if we can get that. What is it? Dot x maybe? Yeah, there we go. So that should give us the size on the x-axis, which is pretty much the entire width of our background. Not what I keep saying background, our what is it? Our ground. So that should be fine. Okay, and then in our that is done at the start of the game. So we first get our start position and the width of it. So now that we've done that, we can go ahead and use it. So in our update method, we can go and say if the transform dot position dot x is less than the start position dot x minus half of it, which is going to be the repeat width, then we can go and set it back to the original position. So let's go and say transform dot position is going to be equal to the start position. So let's go and test that out and see. Hopefully we get a repeating ground. So if we start this, and then we should be able to see it repeat, but it doesn't. Okay, so let's go and see what have we done. Move. Let's see where ground repeat. Actually, let's go and divide that by 2 and then see if that, because I think it was supposed to be half, like I said. So I'm going to increase the speed just so that we can actually see it happen and don't have to wait for a while. Okay, so it is working, but let's go and see if it looks seamless. So you can see our dinosaur is currently moving. I'm just going to drag our scene view to the bottom here so that we can see it move. So you can see when it moves, you can't actually see it in the game view, which is exactly what we want. So the only thing left to do is, as the game increases in speed, we have to go and increase the speed of the ground moving. So that should be simple. I'm just going to move this down a bit because I don't really like how high it is on the screen. But that's pretty much it for today. And then we can go and move our dinosaur back down to something like that. Dinosaur down. I mean, you don't really have to do this because as the game starts, because they both got colliders on it, the dinosaur will fall down. But yeah, this is our game, and clearly our jumping is not working. Why is our jumping not working? Ground. That's weird. Anyway, we shall fix that in another episode. Okay, I don't know why that's not working. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's episode. In the next episode, we'll probably figure out why our dinosaur is no longer jumping, and then start working on adding in trees every now and then. Well, not trees, but cactus, plants. But yeah, and then after that, we need to work on the score. So every time I don't know if it's the distance that you travel or the amount of trees or cactus you jump over. But yeah, we'll figure that out in probably in the next 1 or 2 episodes. So that's it for today's episode. It's nice and short, only 12 minutes long. And yeah, thanks for watching if you made this far, and I will see you in the next episode. So goodbye.